Hello everyone, this is John from the Brutecast and welcome to episode 3 of How to Space Engineers. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make your first small ship. So we're in space, we're actually in my single player creative world just because it's a lot easier than trying to do it in survival mode on my server. However, I am going to be showing you guys how to make a survival ready ship, and yeah, I'm basically going to build it the exact same way, but the assumption is that this tutorial will show you how to build a ship in survival mode. So, to build small ships is actually fairly simple. To make a bare bones functional ship, you need the following items. You need a cockpit. Now, for a small ship, that could either be a standard or fighter cockpit. I'm just going to use a standard for this video. You then need gyroscopes, which allow you to steer the ship. You then need thrusters, which allow you to obviously move the ship, and you need one thruster pointing in every direction. And then you need a power source. It can either be a large or small nuclear reactor. It can be a battery or a couple batteries, or it can be solar. Although solar isn't very efficient, so it would probably be best to do a combination of solar and battery. Anyway, for this I'm just going to do reactors. To make a bare bones ship in Space Engineers that will work in survival mode, well, in space, this is going to be a space only one to begin with. First of all, you basically just grab your cockpit, and I believe this is a large ship one, we want small ship, there we go. So just grab your cockpit, place it down, and also if you're going to be building in space, make sure you don't actually bump it accidentally, otherwise it'll float away. The best way to build in space is to start off by building a landing gear first, and then docking it onto locking it onto the surface. But if you can't do that, you can build it just floating. You just got to be careful not to bump it. In planets, it's a lot easier because you can just place the landing gear and gravity will pull it down and lock it for you. Anyway, so you need the cockpit. I'm just going to stick the gyroscope on here. Now I'm going to get two small reactors. I'm going to put them on these doors so you can access them from the cockpit. I'm then going to put another small reactor down here, so that, actually facing downwards, so that you can get to it to put uranium in by hand if you need to, if it ever runs out of power and you forgot to refill it. And then the next thing I'm going to do is put an ion thruster going forward, left, up, right, and down. And also, obviously, you need one in reverse. And there you have it. This is an absolute bare bones working ship that will work in survival mode. And as you can see here, I'm able to move forward, backwards, left, right, up and down. So this is a fully functional ship. Just give me a quick second, guys. I'm getting messages on my phone. Alright, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so obviously this isn't a very pretty ship or very functional. I mean, it moves, but it doesn't actually do anything. So now what we're going to do is make this ship have a bit of a purpose. So for this example, I'm going to make this into a mining ship. Now you can have like a combat ship, a welding ship, a grinding ship, whatever, but I'm going to make this into a mining ship. And to do that, all I have to do is grab a cargo container. I want to grab a medium one because they're easier to work with. Drills, which are these ones, and I'm going to grab the small conveyors, so that I can make sure that everything is hooked up and will work. Now the other thing I'm going to quickly grab is an oxygen, so an oxygen generator and an oxygen tank to ensure that our engineers will have plenty of oxygen while they're out working in space. Alright, so first things first, make sure it's a small cockpit again. By the way, if you guys don't know how to do that, you can just press the button. Again, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in episode 1. Anyway, so place the cockpit. Then the next thing we need to do is oxygen generator with number 8. And you can see that there's two small doors on the front of this with two small doors on the back of the cockpit. You simply just line those two up like that, and boom. Then we can get our medium cargo container, because you can see it's got two big doors either side. Put that in the middle like that, and then grab our oxygen tank with number 9 and stick that on the back like that. Then what we do is we grab our drills with number 6 and we simply strap these onto the front of the ship, because you know you're going to want to mine with them obviously, and they kind of need to be on the front to be able to do that. If you have trouble placing the blocks, don't worry about it, just you know, work with it and it'll be fine. And actually I just realized I forgot to mention how to rotate the blocks. So to rotate the blocks is actually pretty self-explanatory. You can see the cube up in the top right hand side of the screen. That literally tells you all the buttons you need. So like insert, home, page up, page down, delete, yada yada yada. That does all your rotation. If you're like me and you've got the dedicated keys on your keyboard for all of this, it makes it a lot easier. But if you're somebody using a laptop or a keyboard that doesn't have dedicated keys, you're going to find it a bit more difficult. Alright, so now that those drills are on, I can hook them up with a small conveyor system. So I'm going to put a conveyor on both sides, like so, and then just simply connect them with tubes, as I am doing here. Also, don't forget to change a block. You just use the mouse wheel to scroll through it. If it's got a plus sign on it. If it doesn't have a plus sign, you have to manually go and find it. But I think that usually they will do now. So I'm going to do that for this side as well. Oh, there we go. Alright, so that, by, you know, for all necessary purposes, is now working mining ship. However, we can't fly it. To do that, we simply put a gyroscope. We'll put one here, and we'll put one on the other side, just to keep everything symmetrical. You don't have to have it symmetrical, but a lot of people like symmetrical ships, so you know. Then thrusters, we'll do 1, 2 forward, we'll do left, we'll do up, and down. And then again, to keep it symmetrical, we'll do exactly the same on the other side. So down, up, actually no, sorry, the other one was right, that's left. Sorry, I get confused sometimes. And forward. Alright, so now the only other thing we need is obviously our power source, which is number 4. And seeing as how there's 2 doors right on the back here, I'm going to simply whack them on there. And then don't forget to add an extra one, just in case you ever run out of power. And I'm just going to stick that there. And I'm not going to put one on the other side, because it doesn't need one. So that is now a functioning mining ship, and to use it, you simply hop in, press G, and then click on Weapons and Tools, drag the drill down, and you can now use the drills. Actually, one thing that I just quickly forgot, to make your life a lot easier, is you need an ore detector, which is this one, and you'll also need an antenna. And basically what this does is enables the antenna enables the ore detector to broadcast, so you can see it on your HUD, and then the ore detector obviously detects the ores. I mean, that's what it's called after all. So there we go, and that is now a fully functional mining ship. Excuse me just another second, I keep getting a lot of messages. Alright, I'm back. So this is a fully functional mining ship for space. So the only thing that you'll need to do now is obviously put a small amount of uranium in this reactor. You can then access the drills here, put some uranium in there, and it should automatically convey to all of the 2 reactors on the back. Same with ice. Put ice in there and it'll automatically go to the oxygen generator and start giving you oxygen. Now the other thing you can do as well is put a connector on the bottom here, so I'll do that quickly. And this will then allow you to grab the ores out of your ship. Now you won't be able to put components or anything inside of this ship. You will only be able to transfer ores and ammunition, because they are can use small conveyors. If you want to do components and stuff, you'll need to use the large conveyor tubes. So that is now a fully functional ship. Now what happens if you want to make an atmospheric ship, or you want to make a ship that can do both? Well, to make an atmospheric ship, you do exactly the same thing as this, except instead of using ion thrusters, you want to use atmospheric thrusters, obviously, which are these ones, and those ones are modded. These ones, you see there's a small and a large variant. It's probably good. Like for a ship this size, you can do it with just a couple of small ones. If you've got anything bigger than this, it might be good to just have a few big ones, especially if it is a mining ship. You might want to have at least one big thruster on there somewhere. And also with atmospheric, you don't need to worry about these top thrusters here because gravity will pull you down. So then to make it a ship that can go between planets and space, all you have to do is get a hydrogen tank and hydrogen thrusters. And all you have to do with these is simply hook the hydrogen tank between the cargo container and the oxygen tank on the back here, or whatever your situation may be. You're probably not building the exact same ship as me. You just slap that in, and then slap your hydrogen thrusters on, and you'll be good to go. The only thing is you'll need to make sure that you have an absolute ton of ice on board your ship, as well as a full hydrogen tank if you're planning on leaving atmosphere, because they're not very efficient. So that's basically how you make a ship. Now you may want to make your ship a little bit more pretty. Now usually there's two ways that people build in Space Engineers. They make it either very pretty or very functional. I try to make my ships a mixture of both. So to make this look a little bit nicer, you could simply just add some nice armor blocks on, and not only will this help improve the design a little, but it will also improve its armor, obviously. I mean, these are armor blocks. So it will also, if I can get it in there, it will also increase the protection and the strength of the ship, not only just for when you're mining and just general wear and tear and whatnot, but also if you ever get attacked while you're out mining. I mean, if you're playing single player, it's probably not going to happen, but unless you've got like cargo ships or space pirates or something turned on, and even then you probably wouldn't be going that close to them. But more so if you're trying to play on a multiplayer server like the one that I'm hosting, then yeah. So I'm not going to go all out on this ship, but basically this is an example of what you can do to try and make it look a little bit nicer, and there's all different types of armor blocks that you can experiment with. So yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know on how to build your first ship in Space Engineers. Is make sure it's practical, make sure you've got like a clear idea of what you want to do, and most importantly, make sure the ship has a function. Make sure you know what it want it to do, and that you're not just going to build a completely useless ship. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all next time.